Hello everyone, this is Arijit, founder of FreeMind Business Solutions, and we have with us today Mr. Ambarish Gupta, founder and CEO of Knowlarity Communications. Ambarish, please tell us a little bit about Knowlarity, what it offers, what the company is about.
First of all, Arijit, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity really to talk about us and what we are doing. I'm the CEO and founder of Knowlarity Communications. We are a cloud telephony company. Cloud telephony means hosted telephony really products for small businesses, and enterprises provide hosted business solutions for enterprises so that they can handle all these calls that are coming to them in a much better way. Literally a phone number to Malhotra ji, when the call comes on that number, it will say welcome to Malhotra Properties. Press 1 says Krishna for marketing. When you press 1 is call is forwarded to the cell phone of a sales guy or customer, and the call gets recorded, goes into CRM, the recording of the call goes into CRM, Malhotra ji gets a big company image, Malhotra ji has all the recording of the call, Malhotra ji now can manage all the call logs of every single lead that came. So it's just really a boom for SMBs in India for 20,000 rupees a year. That is what we provide. We are a 4-year-old company, 350 people now.
So basically from what I understand is that if you do have this product which is super receptionist installed, you really don't need to have receptionists, and automatically we are talking about a huge amount of savings here, and at the same time we are providing that image that you are an established corporation, which is something which a lot of startups might struggle with. So it's a perfect fit for any startup out there who would like to look more professional. It's a perfect fit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when you're a startup, you don't have an office.
Exactly.
But you want to have a big credible company image. That is how you get revenues, right? So with this, and this does not require any on-premise installment. Installments, or you can have this thing running without any hardware on the premise. Literally, just go to the website and sign up for super receptionist. For 1,500 rupees per month, it turned out to be. For startups, actually, they give 6 months free or 6 months free. So for a very, very low cost, you can have a big company email, you keep track of every lead that comes your way, and you can have really professional way of running it.
And of course, let's not forget that Knowlarity is a significantly large company today from 2009. So why don't you tell us about how many people you have?
Sure, we are a 4-year-old company now. Started in 2009 August, and since then, this is the office actually that we started up with. I remember coming to this office and 9 people in the company. Today we have 320 people in the company. We have so far raised 3 rounds of investment. The first angel round was $500,000, 2 crore rupees. Then we raised another 7-8 crore rupees, $1.5 million. And then in 2012, January, we raised from Sequoia Capital another 35 crore rupees, $6.5 million investment. That is where the cloud telephony kind of started really in India. We got a bunch of competitors, copy us, and launched their own products. This whole domain become exciting. But currently 6,000 small businesses using our services. A lot of
2013, I think it's been a pretty fascinating journey. And of course, we have the story of your first startup. Knowlarity is of course not your first company, as we all know.
Yep.
There was also a startup which Ambarish founded earlier, before he went to Carnegie Mellon in the US, after he had passed out of IIT, and after he had gone to the US, gone to Silicon Valley, and after he come back. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your first startup?
Yeah, that was it wasn't successful, but it was nevertheless very exciting experience. My first startup started in 2003. So I graduated from IIT Kanpur 2000. Had a chance to travel around and ended up being in Australia and later in Silicon Valley. 2003 time here, I thought I knew everything that I needed to know as a technology guy or to build product. And people make mistake, and I made a mistake of thinking that building a product means you can build a company. And came back in 2003 to start Inventica in Bangalore. The idea was that on a website, we'll have a rent.com kind of company where on a website you can post apartment listings and people can come and search for those apartments. Magic Place 99 acres. That kind of idea. But 2 years before they started, Magic Bricks and 99 started in 2005 time period. So it's ahead of time, 2003. Right idea, build up the technology, but couldn't execute. Was not able to raise investment, was not able to get employees, pricing was wrong, wasn't able to sell the product in the market. Just didn't really work. I had $40,000 in my bank account when I came. 1.5 years down the line, $2,000 left. Burned through $838,000. So very exciting really experience. Nevertheless, learned so much about how to what all mistakes you can make really in trying to build a company, and many of those really learnings really ended up being very fundamental part of how Knowlarity got second time around.
Right. And so, I mean, and all of us when we are the first starting out, we all have certain assumptions of what it really takes to make a business work. I mean, I've had those assumptions myself, and unfortunately, being able to go over those assumptions and grow. And you also had some of the assumptions, and I specifically believe that a lot of technology people have certain assumptions, and as you mentioned just now, just because you know how to code doesn't mean that you know how to build a company. And of course, you also tell us about your design to fail thing. So if you're not structured in the right way, if you're not doing the right things, that's what you call design to fail. So can you just tell us a little bit about what those obvious pitfalls are?
Yeah,
what we need to avoid?
those obvious pitfalls are the pitfalls that I fell into. So very obvious to me because I have an experience. But I think, there are a bunch of things really that I call design to fail, and it might sound a little arrogant, but it's not arrogant because I actually went through those experiences, and I wouldn't make those mistakes again. I think one thing that I really think is a really bad sign in a startup is that if you're not able to find a co-founder, not being able to find a co-founder and going solo, first of all is a symptom of a much bigger problem, that you're not able to sell your idea. You need to even go and find a co-founder. When you start a company, literally you don't do anything after some time. Everything is done by somebody else. You cannot really build a company alone, which means you are going to go and have to convince investors to give you money. You have to go and convince another person to come join your co-founder. You have to go and convince people to join you as an employee. And why would people come and spend months and months and years of their very valuable part of their career with you? You have to go and convince customers ultimately to go and get revenues. I mean, real business have revenue. And even the businesses which don't have revenue in the beginning ultimately are forced to make revenue. Twitter, Facebook, Groupon, everybody ended up having to make revenue. So if you're not able to get the very first guy who's going to have own 50% of the company with you, it's such a lucrative deal you're not able to crack. I call it a symptom of a very big problem, which means that you'll have a problem later in convincing investors, employees, customers ultimately, and other stakeholders, partners that you have to have. That is one. The second, what I think is really connected with it is, trying to not trying to very quickly diversify risk. 1 in 20 companies goes to Series B. 20 companies start at the angel level, and only 19 fail on the way, and only 1 company is Series B. There is statistics in India. Now, that is a big odd that you fail.
It's 5%.
5% companies are successful. Go to Series B. After Series B, many fail after Series B. Right? Probably 1% companies ultimately are successful, which has any reasonable exit. So that's a pretty bad odd really against you, which means right from the beginning you need to work on reducing the risk, which means to take investors' money and get them involved. The kind of investors who can potentially help you if things go wrong, who can help you with context, with advice, with money if needed. Get other co-founders, get 2, 3, 4 co-founders who can take up responsibilities. Things will go in a very bad direction. I mean, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when in a startup. it's pretty much a rule. Every year, in the first 4 or 5 years, you're going to have a death point in a startup. It's startup almost done. So if you have more than one person whose interests are deeply aligned because they hold equity in the company, they work very, very hard to make the company successful. Get a CTO, right? Give him a lot of equity. Get a CEO, get him a lot of equity. Get VP sales, get him a lot of equity. Then you're not the only one who is sleeping, having a sleepless night. There are 15 more people who are not able to sleep at night because somebody's money is there, somebody's equity is involved.
There are so many other people, so many other successful entrepreneurs who have had, even though they were brilliant, as you were saying the last time we were having a conversation, people like, say, Bill Gates, people like Steve Jobs, they were brilliant people, even they had co-founders.
Mark Zuckerberg. And Mark Zuckerberg is famously known to be a very, very eccentric person, right? He's the guy who says, my way or highway. And he had a co-founder. Steve Jobs had a co-founder. There's an emotional really toll really that it takes. The moral weight that you have to carry, a shoulder that you need when things go to toilet to cry on. You have to have that. If you don't have that, it's just emotionally not possible.
That sometimes you become so excited by your idea that you even fail to validate it with a potential customer pool. So we don't really go out there and we don't really look for.
I literally say, even before you build up a product, go and sell it. You don't have to give them a real product. You show them mock-up. Really ask them will they pay for it. Right? And maybe take advance also. I mean, if the problems typically startups, and you're talking about very fast growth startups, they can only be built if the problem, if the solution that you're building really is not nice to have. It's actually must have. It cannot be painkiller. It has to be literally, saving your life from something. It has to be really intensely needed idea. And if such an intensely needed solution, you go out with a broken product, with an alpha product, people lap on it. So you should build something very, very basic MVP as Eric was MVP, or something even mock-up and go to potential customer and say, will you pay for it? And if you have a product, take money from it, because that proves that the market demands this product. And when you ultimately go out, there will be very large number of people just giving you money for the product that you have built. I have seen a lot of people do the other way around. They spend years and years building up a product and then go to the market and then the market, it's not evolved enough to take this product or doesn't require it.
Which is what Eric Rice did. They spent around 6 or 7 months working on that particular product, and when they went out there, and a huge number of assumptions, and when they went out there, they were clearly off the mark, and that's where they really learned so much of valuable information that validate. And
right from the beginning, we sold a product when we did not have it.
Tell us about that.
So we had built up product called Superfax. On Asterisk, we built a fractional email product, but it was not selling in the market. So that was 2008, late 2008, 2009, early 2009, and at that time the elections started in Odisha, and my co-founder, I was in the US, and my co-founder Pallav, he had done a political consulting company before. So he went out and was talking with the Chief Minister of Odisha, Naveen Patnaik's PM, personal manager, personal secretary. Naveen Patnaik was having a problem of having to go to one village to another village during election time by helicopter. And he was not able to cover all the villages because it needed to get done in the next 7-8 days. That's when the election started. So we were playing with the technology, and we thought that in Asterisk it was possible to make outgoing calls and play a sound file. So what we did was we literally had his sound recorded, voice recorded on a phone, saying, "I am Naveen Patnaik, please give me vote, really Odia," and played it out in front of him, saying, "See, the call came, and then this is the experience." and we played the MP3 recording, and I think Naveen Patnaik got the experience that this is how this is going to happen. Probably also thought that it was a real call that came, and he said, "Oh, I really like it. Can you make every single person? Can you make call to every single person?" Orissa, in next 7, 8, there are 10 days left. The next 10 days, 70 lakh people, and tell them that this is, play out this message on their phones. And he said, "We'll do it. We already have the product. We didn't have the product." So next 72 hours to build up the alpha version of 0.001%, the version of Knowlarity, which basically a distributed system that would make outgoing calls using stress boxes, a bunch of stress boxes. And that was done in 72 hours. Next 72 hours, me sitting in US, but sitting here in India.
And sleepless nights.
And I'm sorry?
Sleepless nights.
Sleepless nights. 72 hours straight work, no sleeping. The first day made 10,000 calls. Those calls ended up going to all over the state and did not make any impact. So next day, what we did was we made calls to journalists and party workers, and that is how we created the buzz, and then we scaled up the system to make 70 lakh calls in next 7 days. But we sold the product when we did not have the product. We saw the money, we built up the product, and then later we used it.
So, what last words of advice do you have for our audience who are there, who are planning to start up or who have early stage startups? Any last words of advice that you have for our audience?
I think honesty, really. There's a lot of buzzwords really thrown in the startup world about software methodologies and business models really. I think literally, if you look at a business, if you just distill it down really, it's about revenue minus cost equal to profit, and a very large amount of it if you're trying to get a venture capital interested. So that is what your plan should be, and as you're going towards that plan, you have to remain honest and transparent about your plan, about the progress that you're making to employees, to stakeholders, to investors, because if things go wrong, if you're transparent, they'll come and help you. If you're not transparent, ultimately you stop being honest to yourself as well, and then the things go wrong. So be honest, be transparent, know ultimately you're building up a business which will have to make money, even if you're on the way, you're doing eyeballs, and the users, metric and all those things, ultimately it has to go in the direction. If you remain committed to that, it will build up a great business.
Thank you so much, Ambarish, for your words of advice, and I'm sure the audience has learned a lot from this interview. I most certainly have learned from the interview and from the earlier conversations with you as well. And so this is where we close the interview for the day, and do stay tuned, and Ambarish might be back again for another interview in the future. And of course, do keep tuning into this blog for other posts and other interviews with other successful entrepreneurs. Thank you so much, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.